Welcome back into another episode of Hefe's Cabin. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. But let's go ahead and get right into today's episode. And I want to just apologize off the top. I'm a little bit under the weather today, but we still going to give you an episode. Um, I got some Sunday review with the Monday Night Football preview, as well as the Wrestlepalooza review episode, and some Monday Night Raw preview as well. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Jonathan Taylor and the Colts rolled straight through Tennessee, as Taylor had 17 carries for 102 yards, three touchdowns. Daniel Jones did his thing as well with 228 passing yards and one touchdown pass to remain a perfect 3-0 on the season. Cam Ward and the Titans have now fell to 0-3. However, he did have his first TD pass of the season in this game and of his NFL career. Next week, he will travel to Houston to take on the Texans and will look for his first NFL win. While Daniel Jones and the Colts will look to remain perfect in LA against the Rams. Aaron Rodgers seals the deal with a little more than 2 minutes left with his second TD pass of the game, beating the Patriots 21 to 14. However, he only threw 139 yards in this game with one touchdown. I'm sorry, with one interception. So he did not look like the vintage Aaron Rodgers of old. Drake May didn't look bad when he had enough time to pass the ball. He was unfortunately sacked 5 times in this game, but he managed to get 268 passing yards off with two touchdowns, one interception. Hunter Henry is definitely his favorite target with 11 targets this game, eight catches for 90 yards, two touchdowns. The Patriots will look to even their record up next week at home against the Panthers, while the Saints will travel over to Dublin to try and continue their win streak against the Vikings. Baker Mayfield and the Bucks have done it again with a last-second win to remain a perfect 3-0. However, this one came at a cost with Mike Evans and his hamstring. Hopefully, he will be back soon, but Baker, that did not stop him as he was able to get the job done against Tyrod Taylor and the Jets. They tried to do everything they could to come back and win this game, even with the blocked field goal touchdown, but that just wasn't enough for Baker Mayfield and the magic that he possesses this season. Tyrod Taylor and the Jets will look to get things going next week in Miami on Monday Night Football, where we could possibly see hopefully Justin Fields back, but hopefully somebody will get a victory here, or maybe we will get a tie. Also, the Bucks, they will look to remain perfect at home against the defending Super Bowl champion Eagles. No Jaden Daniels, no problem, as Marcus Mariota stepped in and showed out with 207 passing yards, one touchdown, and one rushing touchdown of his own off of 6 carries and 40 rushing yards. Jerry McNichols, the Commanders' seventh round running back pick, has taken over their backfield after the injury to Austin Eckler. He only did have 4 rushes in this game, but he made every last one of those carries count with 78 rushing yards and one touchdown. Geno Smith had 289 passing yards with 3 touchdowns, but it just wasn't enough as they lost this game 41 to 24. Now losing 2 straight games, the Las Vegas Raiders will look to rebound next week at home against the Chicago Bears, while the Washington Commanders will continue to get things rolling against the Falcons next week. Jalen Hurts and the Eagles, they put up 26 second half points to beat the Rams 33 to 26. Saquon Barkley, however, did not look like himself from last year, rushing for over 200 yards in each game played against them, as he was put in check with under 50 yards this game with 46 combined rushing yards. So they did have to put the ball in Jalen Hurts' hands, and he did everything that he could with 226 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. To seal the deal, Matthew Stafford and the Rams did get off to a hot start, but they couldn't get the job done, and he'll look to rebound next week against the Colts at home, while the Eagles will look to remain undefeated against Baker Mayfield and the magic that they got going on in Tampa. Bryce Young and the Panthers, they dominated the Falcons 30 to 0. Michael Penix he had a terrible game with with two interceptions, which was ran back for a touchdown. Bryce Young, though, however, didn't really have much of a great game with 121 passing yards of his own, but he did have one rushing touchdown. The Panthers will look to continue to keep things going in the right direction against the Patriots next week, while the Falcons will look to rebound against the Washington Commanders next week. Jake Browning, he stepped in for Joe Burrow and the Bengals this week. 2 seasons ago, he did this exact same thing against this exact same team, and he picked up an overtime victory. However, this time the script was flipped. He only threw for 140 passing yards with two interceptions, one which was ran back by Isaiah Rodgers, and then even Isaiah Rodgers got a fumble recovery for a touchdown as well. So one would say Isaiah Rodgers had a game of his own in this, with a Vikings victory of 48-10. Jordan Mason, he ran the ball 16 times for 116 yards with two touchdown catch runs. They will look to continue this dominance next week in Dublin against the Steelers, while the Bengals will look to pick up the pieces on Monday Night Football against the Denver Broncos. With just under 2 minutes left, the Jacksonville Jaguars sealed their second win of the season, 17-10 over C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans. They fell to 0-3, unfortunately, and this is far from where they were a season ago. The Texans, they just couldn't get anything going, and they will have another divisional matchup next week at home against another winless team in the Tennessee Titans. While the Jags will travel over to San Francisco, uh, who could possibly be back with their quarterback Brock Purdy. So we'll have to get into that and see what's going on. The Cleveland Browns, they rallied back at the end of this game to give the Green Bay Packers their first loss of the season and a 13-10 victory. Jordan Love, he struggled a lot in this game, getting sacked 5 times, throwing one interception, and Josh Jacobs was kept in check while his TD rushing streak was put to a halt. He only had 30 rushing yards in this game, but Joe Flacco, the Browns quarterback, he didn't do so well either, with only 142 passing yards of his own. The Browns will travel to Detroit next week and look to continue to keep things rolling while the Packers look to rebound on Sunday Night Football against the Dallas Cowboys. That's all for the 1 o'clock game. So let's go ahead and get over into the 4 o'clock action. We had Justin Herbert remaining a perfect 3-0 against Bo Nix after a last-second field goal victory, 23-20. Herbert threw for 300 passing yards, one touchdown, one interception, and was sacked 5 times in this game. Keenan Allen continues to roll back with his team with 7 catches, 65 yards, and one of Justin's touchdown passes. J.K. Dobbins got a little bit of revenge against his old team with 11 carries, 83 rushing yards. Cortland Sutton had 118 of Bo Nix, 153 passing yards, and of course Bo Nix's only TD pass as well. The Denver Broncos will look to rebound next week against the Cincinnati Bengals, while the Chargers look to remain hot next week against the New York Giants, starting 3-0 for the first time since 2002. Spencer Rattler threw for 218 passing yards, one touchdown pass, and one interception, but that still wasn't enough to pick up his first NFL win of the season and his first NFL win of his career as he got steamrolled by the Seattle Seahawks 44-13. Sam Darnold threw 218 passing yards with two touchdown passes. Jackson continues to stay hot with 5 catches, 96 yards, and one TD catch. Seattle will look to continue their dominance on Thursday Night Football against the Arizona Cardinals, while Spencer Rattler and the Saints will continue to search for their first win of the year against the Red Hot Bills. The 49ers hit a walk-off field goal to remain a perfect 3-0. Mac Jones stepped in and stepped up for Brock Purdy with 284 passing yards, one TD, and one interception. Ricky Parcells had 8 catches for 117 yards. Kyler didn't get much going with 159 passing yards and one touchdown, and James Conner got carted off the field. Hopefully this injury is not too serious, as the Cardinals will look to rebound on Thursday Night Football against Seattle, while the 49ers will look to remain perfect next week against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Caleb Williams and the Bears dominated the Cowboys throwing 298 passing yards, four touchdown passes. Burden burned the Cowboys secondary up for 101 yards and three catches. Rome had three catches of his own for 62 yards and one touchdown as well. Dak threw for 251 passing yards, one TD, and two interceptions on his way to a 31 to 14 loss. CeeDee Lamb got injured in this game, rolling up his ankle. He did try and come back, but unfortunately had to leave the game again. Ferguson did stay hot with Dak Prescott in this game with 13 of his catches for 82 yards. The Cowboys will look to rebound next week on Sunday Night Football against the team they sent over Micah Parsons to, the Green Bay Packers, while the Bears will travel over to Vegas to take on the Raiders. That's all for the Sunday night, or I'm sorry, for the Sunday review that I got right now. Of course, as you guys know, I will give you guys the Sunday night football game review a little bit later on in the next broadcast. So let's go ahead and get into some Monday night football preview. We have the 1-1 Lions versus the 1-1 Ravens. In this matchup, the Ravens are favored 5.5. One bad loss. One bad loss, one good win is what both of these teams are made up of. Both teams dominated last week, beating their opponents by a combined 55 points after week one defeats. Last week, Derrick Henry was kept in check by the Browns, and he'll look to get back on track versus the Lions. The Ravens are 22-3 in primetime games, winning five straight Monday Night Football games, while can Lamar Jackson make it six? Jared Goff will try and have something to say about it, but Goff is 0-3 versus the Ravens in his career, losing two of those matchups to Lamar Jackson already. My best bet in this matchup is Derrick Henry going over his 86.5 rushing total, as he will look to try and rebound from his 23-yard rushing game last week against the Cleveland Browns. I highly expect the Ravens to win this matchup. As you guys already heard, their quarterback is 0-3 against Lamar, and I highly expect that trend to continue. Will they cover the 5.5? This could be a field goal game, so that 5.5 could come in. But I definitely expect the Ravens money line 100% to hit. That's all I got for the Sunday action right now and my Monday preview. So I appreciate all my football fans for stopping by. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below to check out the next episode. And for all my wrestling fans that came right down to the end for this part, I appreciate you guys for stopping by. And let's go ahead and get right into it. Wrestlepalooza was one hell of an event, and definitely had a lot of action in it for sure. We kicked things off with John Cena and Brock Lesnar. It was one hell of a match for sure. Um, I know a lot of people wanted John Cena to win this matchup, but unfortunately, Brock Lesnar did win this matchup. I was definitely one hoping for sure that John Cena was going to win. Paul Heyman did come out to introduce Brock Lesnar, so that was kind of interesting and kind of cool for sure. In the next matchup, we had the Usos versus the Vision, Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, and we did get a special guest of LA Knight. The winner in this matchup is the Vision, so I can't wait to see what's next and with the Usos and the Vision and LA Knight. Um, Up next, we had the vacant Women's World Championship matchup between Stephanie Valkyr and Io Sky. A great women's matchup between these two women that we all knew what time it was and what was going to happen. Stephanie Valkyr, our new women's champion. It was only a matter of time, and we found out why she was gone for a little while, and that contract signing couldn't happen. She was apparently heavily sick, so I was glad to see she's in good health and in good spirits, and she is our new champion. Can't wait to see what's next for her. Up next, we had CM Punk and AJ Lee versus Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. The winners of this great matchup was CM Punk and AJ Lee. AJ Lee made Becky Lynch tap out. This was a great back and forth matchup between all four of these. A lot of great moves. Definitely something I highly recommend people to go back and watch. I, for one, was hoping this was going to be the main event of this card. It's kind of unfortunate it wasn't, but it is what it is. On to the main event, we had Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre for the undisputed WWE Championship. Of course, the winner and still champion was Cody Rhodes. Prior to that main event, though, however, we did have The Undertaker come out and to let Stephanie McMahon know that she will be inducted into the 2026 Hall of Fame. So that is great for her and great to hear. Can't wait to hear who else is on that class. But This was a great first Wrestlepalooza. I'm sure we'll get another one next year, and I'm sure it'll be bigger and better than this one. As for my Raw preview, I didn't see really anything come up as far as what's on tap for this week, but we do have a new women's champion in Stephanie Valkyr, so I'm sure she'll be there, possibly even start off the show. The Vision ended up beating the Usos at the Wrestlepalooza, so I'm sure they'll be there as well. I'm sure Seth Rollins will have something to say with Becky Lynch after their loss to CM Punk and AJ. I expect AJ and CM Punk to be there as well. And where will LA Knight go from that special guest referee? Can't wait to see what's next for Raw. Unfortunately, nothing was confirmed, so not much to get into on this episode. Hopefully, we'll have some more to talk to on the review episode. But until then, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below. Appreciate everybody for stopping by the cabin, and I'll see y'all next time.